Recording in progress.
Vernon Township Board meeting to order.
Call the Building Corporation meeting to order.
Lift up the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next up is approval of minutes.
I make the motion that we approve the minutes from October 15th, 2025.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the October 15th, 2025 minutes as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same. Minutes carried 3-0.
Need to approve the minutes for the May 14th meeting of the Building Corporation.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Motion
If
passed.
you'd like to sign those and take copies of both.
Thank you.
And just for everyone in the audience today, we are having a joint meeting of the Vernon Township Board and the Vernon Township Building Corporation.
Next up is HVAC update station 431.
Okay. So in your packets, you each have two proposals. We had solicited proposals from HVAC contractors to do the recommended changes to Station 431. And so these are the two that we got bids back from. We did reach out to several others, but did not get any additional bids. So you've got two proposals here. One is from Ideal, one is from Mission Mechanical. They are largely the same in makeup and equipment. I will read you. I did reach out to Mussett Nicholas and Associates, who did the testing for Station 431. And I was just curious as to whether or not this fit the intent of what they had, what they had recommended for us. So he said, and this was before I reached out about Mission, but Ideal's proposal is the scope of work we recommend in our report. It is important that the 4 replacement heat pumps that Ideal is proposing match the capacity and characteristics of the existing units that each is replacing. There is no reason for me to believe that they will not match, but the proposal does not include the details, so we'll get further into that. I suggest you sign the contract with the stipulation that you get to review the equipment, product data, and submittals before the equipment is ordered. I can review the equipment data once they send it to you. So at that time, when I reached out to him, I had sent him both a proposal from Mission and a proposal from Ideal. The proposal from Mission was to abandon the geothermal field altogether. It was a much higher quote. It came in at over $90,000. When I read back Greg's kind of recommendation, it was clear to me that what we needed to bring you was 2 similar proposals using the existing geothermal system so you could understand whether or not this bid was competitive. So you've got Ideals here for $68,850.24 and Mission Mechanicals at $62,849. And as recommended, once the board were to make a recommendation on which proposal they would like to follow through with, I will get the equipment specified and all of that information over to them to ensure that everything is as they had recommended. So, any questions?
Anything different between the two? Or?
No, to me they're pretty much the same. As far as I can tell, they basically each encompass the same type of equipment. They may be different in, this one is a Climate Master. I believe this system is, no, they're both Climate Master.
Yeah.
So 3-ton geothermal units. So I don't have any reason to believe that there's anything substantially different between the two proposals.
You know, one thing, Ideal is silent on it. Mission is clear, they at least express a 1-year parts and labor. Manufacturer warranty, 1-year parts and labor, you go down on certain items, like for the device. Some of those are 5-year warranties. I don't know what exactly they mean by manufacturer warranty plus 1-year parts and labor. I guess that means they're giving the 1-year warranty and whatever the manufacturer gives. Ideal, just that state.
Yeah.
To me, it looks like they're adding in a run and a diffuser and retaining a run for some other stuff.
So that was an additional request that I sent back to Ideal, but asked them to put it on a separate proposal because this is as a result of a failure of one of the mini split units in the building. So the mini split unit in the washroom has failed. Basically, it has been already repaired twice. I think the proposal to repair it the third time was over $3,000, and there wasn't really any justification for why that room is not on the main branch system of the HVAC system. So what I asked Mission to do, which he had already done, was include putting a duct run that would go into that washroom, and so that we don't have to deal with the mini split unit anymore. So, and Ideal had agreed to that. He just didn't. This proposal was a little bit older, so he didn't put that in there. We have worked with Mission before. They currently do our preventative maintenance at both buildings. Ideal came as a recommendation from the constructors of this side, of the training side. So.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Do we feel that working with Mission is something that we would?
We haven't had any, we've had no issues with them. They seem to be competent at their work, and they're always responsive whenever we seek out any questions or need any clarification from them. I don't know about the equipment lead time. Obviously, Ideal's proposal identified, I think it's 13 or 14 weeks lead time. My recommendation would be that, we go ahead and whatever you guys decide, go ahead and commit to that, execute the contract, and look at this as being an early spring project, after the heating season is over and before we really hit the cooling season. So probably, ideally some sort of around late March, early April, so that we're not impacting our crews as much as possible when we have to go in and have this work done. I don't anticipate it'll take more than a couple of days, but I also am very conscious we don't want to sacrifice their comfort either anymore.
And I agree with that because if we have a period of bad weather, I don't want to worry about freezing sprinkler pipes and other water pipes and stuff like that. So I would agree with Stacy's recommendation.
All the problems are on the cooling side, right? Like it's okay in the winter, it's just the summertime when you guys have the condensation.
Yeah.
Condensation, and we were talking before it gets really, really cold, the system won't keep up.
Okay.
Moving on, that's to make a recommendation to the township board. It's not us to make a recommendation.
It is. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve and accept the Mission Mechanical proposal as presented.
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
Make a recommendation for Mission Mechanic to the township board.
I was just curious, how is this heat pump going to be different than the current heat pump when it gets really, really cold? Is it going to be better, or did they explain that?
Is it bigger?
Yes, well, I mean, their size were appropriately, they felt like the units were not sized correctly for the building anyway, so the recommended units would meet the size specifications, so. And they were well aware that obviously we've had some concerns. I don't know, I haven't heard anything specifically within this last heating season that we had any real.
Well, it was one of the things they discovered the last heating season. There were some they called them preheaters that were installed that were supposed to take care of some of the issues that we had that when it got really into the sub-zero temperatures, and when we've had problems with the system not being able to keep up, they installed the preheaters, and so that's supposed to be part of taking care of that problem. Other than that, it's been a bit.
There was only one time we have a heat pump at home that we had to use our emergency heat, so.
And we do have backup heat now.
And that was the other thing they installed.
Yeah, because that was not good when we had no heat in the building at all.
That would be horrible.
Yeah.
So do you need us to make the motion?
Yes.
I make a motion that we accept the bid from Mission Mechanical for Station 431. For Station 3.
I second it.
Motion made and seconded, we approve the Mission Mechanical bid that was recommended from the Building Corporation. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Carried 3-0.
I have to imagine the HVAC system in that building is probably more research than any system. Right? I mean, I have to imagine the work you guys have put in trying to figure out what's wrong with it to guide the repair.
Fix that.
Get my HVAC tech certification after this. I'm gonna become a building wizard, Jeff. That's my.
Good start there.
Okay. While we're still on Station 431, Jeff, do you want to go ahead and give us an update on where we're at?
We have a mediation date. It is with mediator Pete Schroeder at North Shopland downtown. Pete is a highly sought after mediator, and I have had success, not always delight, but success, mediating construction matters with Pete. I think Pete is an effective mediator because he is also a part-time high school and collegiate wrestling referee. And so I think that may help that he might throw people in a headlock in the students and things done. Occasionally me. So we're going to do that on February 12th, many weeks after when Lori would like to do it. But his schedule, my schedule, and the other attorney's schedule were not finding dates. And my problem and great frustration too was I would start with the first guy and then go around in a loop. And by the time I got back to the last guy, Pete's dates have been picked. I think, though, with this discussion we're having tonight and needing to assemble a few things to them and give them a chance to come out and take a look, and knowing that when you stand in the first week of November, you think you have 2 months in the rest of the year, and you really don't. You've probably got about 5.5 functional weeks. It's going to go fast. And so we are actually already working on, Stacy and I are working on dates for them to come look and do their inspection. And with a pre-litigation mediation, you do have to push out more information to show why. It's not just, well, I say I did it. So I think that time will go quickly for lots of reasons. And I'm glad we got everybody together. I don't know if I've talked to you two, but we have Envoy in their insurance. That was kind of an open thing until very late in the summer about whether or not Envoy is going to participate and whether or not their insurance is going to participate. And I went round and round with them. We do have them, and they have counsel out of Evansville, actually, and their insurance participating. So Slow, moderately positive progress. So I think we're going to know by that date. And then that's good because if we're looking at a spring deployment, we're going to have plenty of time for them to come look, plenty of time to go argue about why we need to be made whole.
Okay.
Next one, plan appraisal.
It is and it isn't. So the long and the short of it is, we did get 2 appraisals back. We are going to seek a third. They were really far apart from each other, and so we don't have a lot of confidence. One too high, is the other too low. So I've reached out today to seek the third. So we'll have more information hopefully the next time we meet. So.
They're too far apart to both be right. Somebody's missing an input, so the third will break the tie. And as Flory said, he'll probably come right in the middle of the two and we'll pull our hair out.
I used to be an optimist, but I am joking. And just a reminder that the land appraisals are to buy land for a third fire station.
Next up is number 6, RFQ for training and gardens.
So we, I believe at the last meeting I wasn't here, but that you all were presented with a couple of RFQs from 2 different parties on the project for the, I guess it's called township facilities infrastructure improvements. So this would be the gardens and the training building / pole barn for the fire department. Chief Flory and myself have independently sat down and scored the proposals in order to be able to bring a recommendation tonight on it. We were all 3 in alignment with our scoring, and we have we're making the recommendation for GM development. There was a lot of similarities in both proposals, if we're being completely honest, on almost all fronts. The biggest difference was the scoping period cost. The scoping period cost from the other proposal, which was from Bill BW, BF&S, was a cost of $50,000. The scoping period for GM development is 0. So that makes a huge difference in terms of, if there were anything that were to happen in this process and we kind of got down this path and determined that, we're not going to be able to move this project forward, not being out $50,000 for the scoping period makes a big difference, I feel like. We have confidence in the GM development team. We've met with Greg Martz under other conditions, circumstances, and then we met with the other folks. So I feel like we have a solid proposal from them, and I feel pretty confident they're more than capable of.
They've got a lot of top-notch towns and cities that they've done things for themselves.
And very similar type of work. And, we were very transparent and honest when we met with 523 Development originally and asked them, is this project within your scope? Is this something you can do? It's not too small because, they're doing, a lot of these developers are doing big, multi, tens of millions of dollars project, and that's not what this project is. So they were confident that this is something that fits within what they do. So.
So we would need a vote from the township board to move forward with this.
When did we discuss the pole barn? I'm trying to remember. It wasn't last meeting, so I just looked at the minutes.
I don't know. It's part of so that proposed piece would be a storage facility, but it would also have 2 different types of training scenarios built inside of it. One I think we've talked about this because we talked about removing the box off the back of the ambulance that we just sold at the auction. But now we're actually talking about just building an ambulance simulator inside of that, and then a fire training simulator would be what would go on the other side of it. So, but we have a lot of equipment and things that are not used all year round. Trailer, gator, we get salt. We're fortunate enough to be able to have a plow, so we can spread our own salt here and stuff. So those kinds of pieces of equipment, plus any additional apparatus that's
I just don't remember we were talking about it.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think we talked about it
Months ago.
but it's been months and months ago because we kind of were in a holding pattern on everything, waiting to see where everything was going to go in terms of legislation and so on and so forth. So I have a conversation tomorrow with Michael at 1 o'clock to talk through the logistics of if we were to, we'll have to come up with, the board will be charged with helping us to present for the guaranteed maximum price for this project. So Michael and I are going to talk tomorrow, have a conversation about if he feels comfortable with the numbers that I've kind of already put together. So.
So Dave, I think to your question, we will be going back through all of it again.
Yes.
And that original concept, I think the questions will be, was that the right scope, and are we going to continue with that concept, or does that need to evolve?
And how much money did we put in the budget for that?
Well,
That'll be the
so we had it, some of this came forward in the capital improvement plan that you guys approved back in, what was that, August, September? I don't remember. September. So that was built into that 26 and 27 plan that we put forward. A lot of this revolves around, I think you'll all recall, we don't want our money to be taken and put into the road fund if we can do improvement projects here at the township. And so we've talked, that involves the garden, which, would have a trail that eventually, hopefully, will connect at some point in time to the Broadway Trail. So we hadn't talked as much, Dave, probably as extensively about the part of the side that is the fire department side, but we are looking at putting an extrication pad out there as well so that we're not doing extrication training here in the parking lot, and those kind of things.
Yeah, we'll have an extrication pad so that it's on concrete. So when we have broken glass or oil or whatever, it's a lot easier to clean up. And we're not out there drawing rocks, twisting an ankle. We've had it out here in the past where then the public comes up and we don't want to risk that hazard. The training portion on the inside of the barn, and then like Stacy said, we're going to build 70% of our call volume is EMS, so we're going to build the back of an ambulance inside there so that we can do EMS scenarios inside of it. We're also going to build a fire training simulator inside of it where we can do search and rescue, rappel or bail out of the second story window year round and not just during the summer months. So it'll be multiple, it'll be used year round, plus it'll allow us to store extra equipment, like she said, the salt, the gator, the stuff that we don't use all the time. And so right now it's all kind of in between trucks and stuff over at the station right now to where we'll get it out of there so where we have a little bit of wide open space and not worry about tripping on things.
And we should emphasize, Stacy brought up the road bill, and I'm not sure if Robert and Brendan did. So the what the road bill did was it forced townships to take any what was considered money that we were saving, which in working with Michael we had considered quite prudent. However, the legislature has decided that there should be less of that, and they will claw it back if we keep it. So we have put some money into our new township road fund, but what we want to do is we want to ensure that we complete the projects here that we complete the drainage, we complete the sidewalk, we complete the paths, that we complete the things here before we really look and say, is the township money that should be going off? And quite frankly, the amount of money is so small that it wouldn't pave a quarter mile of road. So we believe that this is the most prudent approach. We are not trying to avoid compliance in any stretch of the way. We want to make sure the money is wisely spent and the things that we have started that we do complete. We're doing a little faster than we would have, though, if we're moving. And I think we've been very transparent about that every step of the way, that we actually believe it makes more sense to keep more savings. However, that has not been our decision. So we are recommending that we move forward and finish the projects that we've started. And this is the path to do that. Are there any other questions on that?
And what exactly is GM Development doing?
They're doing the scoping of the infrastructure and
They'll bring the constructors to the table after they've got the project lined out. They'll be the ones doing all of the bidding for the project. We won't be doing the bidding internally as it's been done in the past. So.
And they will help us establish the bot.
Yeah.
The fact that he is willing to do this and get you through scoping, and you could say, ooh, because this has happened once on this project, ooh, this doesn't feel right. That's quite a contingent risk on his part, so that he's willing to go through that with you is a big deal.
Is there a cost for this service?
No. There's not in this phase. So in the scoping period, they're willing to, like Jeff just said, engage with us and start this process without us paying them anything. That obviously they're going to collect their monies on the project once the project is,
It's like a developer's fee, which Garmong or someone, whoever did your bot on the other station took a developer's fee. You're just going to be able to have a BOT with a guaranteed maximum price. We will have a contract and we will look at and will argue over what are acceptable contingencies or not. He'll make a profit. But what won't happen is having the buck stop nowhere, as we could go back to the top of the agenda and talk about what happens whenever that occurs. So, and Greg Martz, I just know him through work. He just bot. I mean, that's all they do are bots.
Incredible.
Does everyone make a motion?
I make the motion that we move forward with GM Development, approving the scoping plan for our Vernon Township Fire Territory Training Facilities and Infrastructure Improvement.
I second it.
Motion been made and seconded. We approve GM Development for the scoping activities for Vernon Township facilities and infrastructure improvements. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed the same. Carries 3-0.
For the building corporation, for the remainder of the agenda, I think the only thing that applies to building corporation is the audit update. We would love to have you here for the whole rest of the meeting. Do you want to sit through the finances? It will not take long, but we could skip to the audit. We want to be, if you're both good, we will, okay. I just wanted to be, we ask a lot of you after saying we would ask you for one meeting a year, and I think every single year we've done a lot more than that, so, we can then move forward, okay.
Next up is finance, quarterly, third quarter financials.
So you have in your packet the third quarter financials. I'm going to start with this one that says Vernon Township through 9/30/25. The top, it's 75% of the time has elapsed. General fund is trending really well. We're under budget at 71%. I'm not really surprised we haven't moved forward some of the projects that we had hoped on the capital side. And we're going to have some money left in personnel services as well. You can see that it's 94% on the services and charges. We've already made our annual transfer to the fire territory, which is a huge number. That's, over $600,000. So that's why that looks quite high by comparison. We haven't really spent 94% of that budget on the items that the township carries. And there was an encumbrance, obviously, of $288,895 for the build out of the training center. And that has been 100% expended. The Township Assistance Fund is at 78% spent, so it is above the time that's elapsed so far this year. I am talking again, like I said, with Michael tomorrow at 1:00. Medical hospital burial is well below, which usually always is. We have very few requests in those categories, but our housing is way up this year. So I do believe there's a good chance we may need to have an additional appropriation for township assistance this year, especially through the end of October. We're trending, I think we've got about $4,000 left in the budget total. So it's been pretty heavy this year. We've had a lot more requests.
And I think if everybody's been following the news, so SNAP benefits are, as of right now, no longer happening. And so we've got some major concerns as to what is going to happen really through the end of the year and if this continues. We have been working with the food pantry, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the agenda. But just keep this in mind as we get down to that portion of the agenda.
On the Special Fire Protection Territory General Fund, we're trending basically about on time here, a little bit under budget. Honestly, we're at 65% spent versus 75% time elapsed. Chief and I have already had some conversations. Obviously, the big thing we know is that we need another $600,000 to support the purchase of the Quint. So obviously, there's money in that budget that will go to support that outlay, which will come in 2026, which is super exciting. Last is the 8692 Special Equipment Replacement Fund. It's 65% spent. It has one payment left to be executed this year for the engines. So, any questions about that one? The second one is the debt schedule. You guys see this every quarter. The only big difference is third quarter principal and interest was we made a payment on the Spartan engines that was due in July. We still have a remaining P&I due on that in December, and then the 2021 bond series is paid at the end of the year on 12/31. So those two payments will be outstanding for the fourth quarter. And I think Lori can talk about it at some point in time. There was some feedback given to us through the audit. But we'll keep reporting the debt just like it is. The last statement is Trust Indiana. So you can see the township has earned $4,670.84 for the quarter. $28,973 for the year. The interest rate is trending down, unfortunately. It's still hovering right above 4% last I checked, but we're still earning better than we would be earning if we kept it at GBC. So until we're not earning more money, I feel like it's safe to keep it there. And the fire territory earned just shy of $9,100 last quarter. So, any questions about any of those?
If there's no questions, we will need a vote to accept all three.
So third quarter financial report.
Yeah, financials, debt, and investment reports.
I make the motion that we approve the financial reports as they were presented.
Second.
Motion made, second, we accept, approve the financial report, the debt report, and the interest-bearing account from Trust Indiana as presented. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. Carries 3-0. Audit update.
So, it's over. We can't believe it went that fast. It was the fastest audit we've had since 2019. And while we do not have the final results back and can't walk through any of the specifics until we have that final, I think, Tim, we can say from going through the exit that it went very, very well.
Very well.
Very, very well. We went through a lot of transition in the 23-24 period in terms of staff, in terms of growth, and so I think we can commend all of the various players who played a lot of different roles during those periods. And some of the comments were that this was one of the best examples of the way that this was being kept and the detail that we were using here. So a huge improvement over the first one. That was not,
We can't talk about it until we get the final report.
yes. The one thing
According to the state guy.
The one thing we can talk about is they made recommendations that were unrelated to the audit itself, and that had to do with keeping of the books for the building corporation and for the township. And so we do keep separate books. However, the way that we treat debt, we have treated it all on the books of the township, and they have indicated that that is incorrect, and we had to go back and we had to correct that for multiple years. So you will see that correction, and we'll be talking about that going forward as to how we keep actual financial books for the building corporation, which has not been done. And our previous meetings, we had always understood that that was not the way you did it. So we're getting additional clarification on how that is to be done. Everything was tracked. It just was not tracked separate. And in previous audits, it was deemed as being correct. So we're looking at it, and I don't know if this is just like a change of posture or something to that effect, but you will hear more about it at our probably our next annual meeting. The growth appeal, it was submitted, and I expect we will not get results until probably late November or early December. You want me to go right into the additional emergency fund allocation? So I talked earlier about the situation with the SNAP benefits and our discussion with Farm. The township is contracted with Farm to act as our food pantry. And Jeff, I'm sure, will be able to assist me here in terms of, so the legal situation for townships providing food and food vouchers, et cetera, as we were looking through the law and saying this is considered an emergency situation.
Well, I mean, we're certainly concerned about SNAP, what's going to happen, but I don't know if you've been overrun or if you've got a lot of people coming or Farm is coming back to you telling you we're not going to make it. We're not going to make it to the end of the year.
So we contacted Farm, and they are at their highest request for food since COVID. And our requests here obviously have not been for SNAP related yet, as this was the very first day. What we do want to look at is potentially an addendum to the Farm contract that would allow us to provide additional dollars to them this month and next month if we end up in a crisis situation.
It's a simple resolution. You give me a sum and we'll just do, we wouldn't even amend by addendum the contract terms all stay the same. Just here are additional resources. Keep taking our referral.
We have the funds to do it. When we talk to Michael tomorrow, we'll be determining what the exact amount is, and I think we would look at it on a month-to-month basis. Jeff, is that the?
When you tell me how you want to do it, I'll draft according to that. I would probably just say, go to the high side of your estimate, grant them that, check in from the third week of December and say, how do we do? We're on fumes, or, oh, we're good. If they're good, then we just adjust 26, almost like an encumbrance, and say, okay, well, we'll give you a little less for 26.
And we did increase our contract for 26 just based on the volume of requests that we're seeing, totally unrelated to SNAP, the increase of population and increase of need here. Any questions on that? Any concerns about that direction and us working with Jeff on an addendum?
Do they give food outside of the township?
They track, and so the food that we would be purchasing is only for people who are in Vernon Township, and they have to track it. And they do a very, very good job of tracking. I don't send every month, but occasionally I send you the reports, and they track the families, they track the children, they track veterans, and then they track where everybody lives, and how often they come.
Do we need to do any action on that tonight? Or do we wait?
I just want to make sure that everyone is supportive of me moving forward with that addendum.
You two in favor?
Yes.
3 in favor.
Okay, thank you. And then old business, I just wanted to let you know on our volunteer projects, 9-Star Cooperative Service Day, Master Gardeners, and we did not add on here the Mount Vernon High School and middle school students. We've had a wide range of projects that they've been working on in the community garden And out, if you have seen out at McCourtsville Cemetery, there is an enormous pile, Mary Beth's laughing, of honeysuckle bush, invasive honeysuckle bush that we have been pulling out foot by foot. If you know anybody who is interested in coming out and helping us, it is quite the job. I was tied off with a rope, with a harness, and down sawing it off yesterday. Thank goodness we didn't. Mark's like, yeah, we're going to be sending the ambulance for it. That's going to be a hard one to explain.
Is it in the cemetery or in the ditch?
Both. It's actually in the perimeter
Yeah.
that is between the ditch and the cemetery.
The RDC gave a bunch of money for the cleanup of that ditch, so I don't know why the township is doing it.
Because what the RDC is doing is they have they're doing a great job too. Chad Konauer, the surveyor, has been out there, I think just about every time we've been out there with a full crew. The ditch was very narrow. I don't know if probably you haven't all been out there and studied it, but it probably wasn't much wider than from this table to this wall. And it was constantly clogged, and there was trash down in it. It was a mess, and it was starting to collapse. The erosion was pretty bad. We have concerns because there are burials that are quite close to the edge. So they've come in and they've reinforced it with heavy rock. And Chad reached out to us to talk about the need to remove all of the invasives. The invasive portion is on our property. The ditch is the responsibility of the county, and so that's the portion that the RDC funded and has worked on.
Who's Chad?
Chad Konauer, he's a surveyor, and they have done surveyor. Yeah, he's done an incredible job.
It looks good.
They have not only widened it, but they've what do you call that? Where you stair step it.
Terrace.
Terrace, thank you. Good word. And so the water, as it flows up, there's not so much chance of erosion. And they've done a nice job of building it into the new landscaping that's built in.
You should stop and look. It looks really good.
Yeah, it really does.
Briefly saw it when I was passing it. I should stop.
It looks really nice, except for the mountain of honeysuckle that is back in the corner that we're working on moving. And the other item you'll see in the back of the room, all of the items for the CASA Care Bag project are starting to come in. Just a reminder that the taxpayers do not pay for this project. This is completely donated items from a wide number of groups. Advanced Dental, Exchange Club, oh my gosh, so there's, I think, 15 different groups that have donated into this. We will have 170 bags that will be delivered to the CASA kids, children who have been removed from their homes because of abuse and neglect. And there will be a holiday party for them early in December, and partnering with the all throughout the county, the fire departments to deliver the bags and bring in Santa and do some extra special things for kids.
It's awesome.
And I know Stacy went for the soccer game. I hope as everyone came in, they saw the incredible work that has been done out in the lobby. And you'll remember, Brendan, and as we were converting over from volunteer to Vernon Township. One of the commitments that was made was to display the antique fire equipment, and I'm hoping that soon we'll be able to have an event with the volunteers so that they can see that that promise was not only kept, but it was kept in a beautiful way. With the memorial of volunteers and the history wall. And I really want to commend Stacy for taking the lead in working with Delph on that and making that happen. It really, really turned out well. And then I think our next meeting, December 17th, will be our holiday gathering. We talked about trying to move it up, but I think the reality is we probably will not receive our growth appeal before then. And so we will probably have to hold to that date because of the salary resolutions and several other items. So December 17th is the date. Wednesday of this week, we have the ITA Public Safety Program over in Westfield, and the next Fire Territory Board meeting will be at 9 a.m. on November 24th. That's all I've got. I can talk more if you want me to talk more, but.
Anybody else have anything to do?
Old business. I was wondering what the status is of the chargers.
We are still awaiting the state to send us the grant award documentation and agreements. Last I heard about 2 to 3 weeks ago, that was still with the Attorney General's office for review. So I've followed up twice since then and have yet to hear back. So once we know more, we'll be glad to share it. But so far, it's held up in legal review.
The truck been decaled, sticker, lighted, whatever.
So the Ranger is here and it's awaiting equipment. The Lightning is still on order. That date, the build date, got pushed back to mid-December. So we're looking like probably first of the year before that'll be here and be upfit, stickered, all that. So a few more weeks or months, but getting closer. Yep.
The drum doing?
Good. Good.
Is it a gas? Okay. I was looking at it today. It's a nice little truck.
Yep.
So the drum, have you used the drum lately? And
We actually had a call Saturday for an outdoor brush pile or mulch, outdoor. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Saturday, this past Saturday, we had a call at area location around here for vegetation pile on fire, and we were able to use that to better utilize and direct the water that we needed to spray, as well as we had a person from the business that was there able to pull the pile apart with a backhoe and help direct them. So it worked out really well. Outside of that one, past few calls have been to assist law enforcement with either a subject that's fled or a missing persons case. So we do go out and assist law enforcement partners when requested. And actually right before this meeting, there was a call down in the Sugar Creeks area for a drone, and Sugar Creek and Greenfield responded with theirs. The nice part is we do have the countywide call out, so if they weren't available, we could go to assist, and that's happened a couple weeks back where Sugar Creek's drone was unavailable, so I went down to their area to help out. So nice to be able to have that. It's a bit informal right now, but works pretty well when we all get a notification and then can figure out who's going and to help back each other up.
So how many people are trained to operate it?
So far, it's myself. We were supposed to have a National Fire Academy class that was a train the trainer to bring back the remote pilot and the aerial incident operations classes. Unfortunately, due to the government shutdown, that class got paused. So goal is going to be to continue that training. Hopefully in the April timeframe is when the next class is supposed to go on, and bring some of that back here for our folks. So we'll see. Kind of trying to get.
You're the only one, then how does that work if there's a need for it? They just call you at home and you respond, or?
Yep. So it's kind of twofold. One is our battalion chiefs have called me out like this Saturday, asked if I was available to respond, If I'm not, that's where that countywide drone team comes into play. We can page out. There's now at least there's 3 fire departments and then some law enforcement entities that now also have their own drones. So again, good kind of working relationship, be able to back each other up if I'm not personally available. Go ahead.
Short summary, there's an active 911. They can send a page group out for the drone teams. And it'll go to his phone. And as for everybody else that's on the county team, they'll go to their phone as well, and they get alerted that way.
So if you're not available, there's somebody that can cover it?
Yep.
Gotcha. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a topic I'm interested in.
Yeah, the goal is absolutely to get at least 1, if not 2 pilots here per shift trained, and then look at potentially adding a second drone or move the drone to a vehicle that would make sense for 24/7 operations. But just we're not there yet. So.
Well, thank you.
Channel 59 had on the news tonight, Hamilton County is building a new fire training.
I saw that. I don't know much about it. They've got one training facility up on River Road, 160th and River Road. I don't know if they're expanding that one or what they're doing, but yeah, I didn't read much about it, but I saw that.
I just want, will Fortville be able to go, Vernon Township?
We've been invited to use it. Yeah, we've been invited. The problem is the travel distance and response times back. We have a really good relationship with Greenfield. They've got a place there at their Station 2 on New Road where we can do live fires at, and that's what we've been doing last week we were down there doing live fire training. So, but yeah, we have been invited to use Hamilton County. It's just about a 30 to 40 minute drive.
I just caught a glimpse of it on the news. Yep, get ready. So.
Yep.
Being no further business, I move to adjourn at 7:29.
I make the motion to adjourn at 7:29.
I can't. He's gonna make the motion. Yes.
In there.
I'll make a motion. We adjourn the building corporation.
Second.
Thank you, everyone. Good job.